Activists are calling on school students to secretly film and expose teachers. The Parents Taking Charge group, formed by a high-profile anti-vaccination campaigner, is encouraging kids to film inappropriate behaviour or material at school. This includes Australia Day discussions and sex education. Teachers have condemned the lobby group's actions, saying they are violating their privacy and professional ethics. Joining me live is Teachers Professional Association of Victoria President Edward Schuller. Hi there, Edward. I think you would, share those concerns about privacy, but let's just, put those concerns about privacy and also whether the action is appropriate aside. What do you think this shows about how parents are concerned regarding how their kids are being influenced at school?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I think this really is a predictable outcome. This is a natural consequence of the failing and the falling trust in our education system. I think student results are plummeting, student behaviour is out of control, and parents want to know what their kids are being taught, and that's more than fair enough. So I understand, and we have privacy concerns as well, just as initiatives like teachers wearing body cams, there are privacy issues there too. But I think this is the symptom of a broader issue, which is distrust in our failing education system.
What do you think can be done?
Well, we at the TPAA actually have a solution for it. So, like I said, student behaviour, plummeting student results, the teacher shortage crisis across Australia, not just in Victoria, they're all symptoms of the greater issue, which is the centralised education system. In every state, all across Australia, it is a top-down approach to education in state schools, and it's absolutely killing the teaching profession, and most importantly, it's not setting up the students for what the education that they actually need. So we want to go local. We want the education system to be decentralised, to have a bottom-up approach as opposed to a top-down one. We want grassroots boards where we've got parents and teachers in communique with principals as the head of those boards, so that decisions on curriculum and staffing arrangements and student discipline can be made by local boards that are accountable to a local community.
What are the biggest complaints on the teachers' side?
On the teacher side of this issue, I think the biggest complaint is the privacy, and that's what we've been hearing. I think it is a bit of a concern. I mean, I don't think it's ever a good idea to be encouraging students to whip out their phones ad hoc, at school. They shouldn't be using them in the classroom. There are many bans on that from private and public
more generally,
sort of
not just on this. Not just on the filming, I meant in general, because we do hear a lot about how teachers are dissatisfied and anecdotal evidence about teachers leaving the profession because it's too stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it comes back to. That's what our teacher members, we've got thousands of members across Australia and Victoria, and they're telling us it is the centralisation of processes, which means that there's so many more layers of bureaucracy, which means that decisions can't be handled at a local level. And it really undercuts the authority of the principal, the way that decisions are made. There is a top-down approach, and having local boards where we're able to be accountable to local communities will make parents more at ease. Because at the moment in education, we sort of talk about ancillary issues like this one that this particular group has brought up, but they're all symptoms of the broader issue. And look, I'll give an example. In Queensland, we're a day out from the Queensland state election. You haven't heard one word from the Premier, you haven't heard one word from the opposition leader about how they're going to fix the education system. Neither of them and no politicians across the country are really looking at meaningful reform in the education system. And it means teachers and parents are throwing barbs at each other's way when in reality, it's the students that are being caught in the crosshairs and they're not getting the education that they deserve. Parents are concerned that their children are being indoctrinated, which is why we're seeing huge levels, skyrocketing levels of homeschooling and distance education in Australia and in Victoria in particular. It's the leading state for it.
What evidence do you have of this bottom-up approach working?
There's a number of elements. There are charter schools in the United States, but also in France. There's different European countries that this has worked very well at. And what it will do is make good schools better, and it will show the problems in the lesser performing schools that are letting down teachers, that are letting down parents and students. Clearly, the system at the moment isn't working. Every politician, every union official can look at it and say that. But, often it's just requests for more funding to line their own pockets, and nothing actually gets done about it. So meaningful reform has to happen. It will upset some people, but that's what we're advocating for. So if you don't mind, I invite all of your viewers to go to tpaa.redunion.com.au and have a look at our Go Local plan, because we want to make the right and difficult decisions that are needed for our children.
Thanks a lot, Edward. As a parent of 2 high school kids, I commend your actions. Edward Schuller, Teachers Professional Association of Victoria President.